internationale. À chacun d'entre vous, soyez les bienvenus au nom de la FEI Driving World Cup qui va débuter cette belle journée annoncée en ce samedi matin qui se poursuivra donc après.
Get, set, and go. We are here in Lyon, and just look at some of that action we are about to bring you from this beautiful city. Gateway to the Alps for some if you're into your skiing, but it's all about the horses this weekend. It's a triple whammy for FEI World Cups. It's a busy old weekend for us at FEI TV and Clip My Horse, and we've had some fantastic dressage so far. We've got the show jumping to come at the end of the weekend, but here and now, early morning in Lyon at the Ijsbrand Eurexpo Arena, we are bringing you leg 1 of 8. Here we are, and my goodness, it is so exciting, the prospect of what is to come. Who will be crowned? Who will dominate through these incredible competitions at some of the best, biggest, glitziest, coolest shows that we host? It is amazing. Now, some of the teams have been out familiarising themselves with the courses and just having a bit of settling. You see the tall figure there of our course builder, who else but Jeroen Houteman, probably one of the most prolific men at this sort of level of driving competition. They'll all be chattering away to each other in their earpieces, the calm before. It won't be a storm, but there will be a lot of action. And look at the arena party, all important, that clock there, the Longines clock. It is a flowing course for an opener, as we would expect, as we bring you the starting order. We have 2 wildcards, of course, for France, Benjamin Aillaud and Anthony Old, Dries Degrieck, and for the British fans, he's got Tara Wilkinson on the back with him, Georg Von Stein for Germany. Also, Mareike Meier. Now, she may be known to you as Mareike Hahn, but she has recently got married, so from here on in, she's known as Mareike Meier. And Jerome Voutaz, and who better to top it off but Ijsbrand Chardon. There we have it. 2 marathon-style obstacles. They are numbers 5 and 11. A bridge in the middle, 4 and 9. 13 different separate challenges, shall we call them, and of course 4 penalties that get added. It all looks on paper quite straightforward. The width between those gates in the obstacles, 3.5 metres. That's the minimum width. Don't forget, here we're using the marathon carriages. The dimensions of the carriages, that 125 of the wheel width. So although you may equate a little bit of the cone driving to what we see in the outdoors format, don't forget we've just had the most incredible World Cup from Ijsbrand in the Buk Mountains. It only seems like yesterday that we were bringing you that fantastic outdoor action. But here the dimensions are slightly different. We're using marathon carriages with the cone widths that are between 1.9 and 2 metres for the cones. Only Lyon. And these beautifully dressed arenas, they really do look lovely. It's an early start. Our first drivers will be coming out at 8:30 local time. So wherever in the world, as I always say, you are joining us live, it is an absolute joy to share this action with you. You may be watching it on playback, so we hope you're enjoying that as well. But this live action that we are bringing to you from Lyon on the eastern side of France, an absolutely glorious city and a very, very busy show. It is the 30th edition of, there we go. Thank you, crew, for backing me up on that one, number 30. And some early morning fans. It has been an early start. I expect those wonderful horses, and they will be introduced as each combination comes forward, because they really are the stars of the show. They've had an early breakfast. I'm sure they have their routines, and they really are such seasoned athletes themselves. They are used to the travelling. They are very cool about the prize givings, the pizzazz, the music, the lights, everything that we bring you as part of this incredible series. And Switzerland are out because, of course, we have Georg Voutaz, one of actually the longest serving competitors on this circuit. Don't forget, it started back in 2001 and 2 when the great Michael Freund was first crowned FEI World Cup champion for the driving. Don't forget, we have it in the dressage and jumping as well, but a gentleman that needs absolutely no introduction, not just in driving, not just in the Netherlands, but globally. He's an absolute icon across all sports, be it with or without horses. So we have a tremendous lineup for you. We've got sort of the first half of our 10 qualified athletes, and there we have Georg Voutaz. So Ijsbrand Chardon, Georg Voutaz, Mareike Meier for Germany, Georg Von Stein for Germany as well, Dries Degrieck for Belgium, Anthony Aillaud and Benjamin Aillaud for France. As they parade Mareike's telltale, very patriotic colours that she has, and Georg as well. We have a mixture here of indoor and outdoor horses. Predominantly, our drivers are able to revert to a different team of horses, the Chardons in particular, and I'll be talking a lot about the Hungarian influence in the teams of horses that we're seeing. There's Dries. And you might have just spotted Tara Wilkinson, who did so brilliantly for the British team at the World Singles Championships in the PAM. She's on there as well, as Ijsbrand comes round with his quite distinguished greys. Quite a lot of these horses that are used, certainly by the Chardons, and I'll come to Glenn Geertz when next commentating on him. They've got horses supplied by the Dobrovitzes, and I do hope they're all tuning in. There's Mareike. Congratulations to her and the family on their recent marriage. There's Benjamin, and on the back, really important, particularly at the World Cup, he's got Hélène and his wife Magali, and it really is a team effort in every sense. We talk about the fours being a team. There's Anthony Aillaud as well, and he has Carol Horde and Victor Jumel on the back. Everybody plays their role. They're smiling. The adrenaline probably is pumping in the horses and the humans. There's a lot of anticipation. We've got some experienced horses that have done this many times, indoors and out, and some of our drivers are introducing some new horses as well. But this course, open and flowing as we would expect early on in the season. We're keeping it as friendly, welcoming, confidence building for the horses at this stage. I'm sure we'll have lots more people viewing tomorrow. Lunchtime, Lyon time, I'll be bringing you competition number 2. But first in and first to go in the 2024-25 FEI Driving World Cup. It is for France. As a wild card, it's Benjamin Aillaud with Fez, Fruto, Famoso and Fiasco. This wonderfully alliterative team of Lusitanos, and he's off. The action is starting. Keep a close eye on those balls. And the time. We've got the running time on next to the FEI logo. and how dearly we would love to see that yellow box stay as a 0. But he's a pathfinder. The others will be watching him as he goes over the bridge. Already we're at number 4 for Ben and the Lusitanos. He's into number 5. You will get to learn these routes because they're staying the same for the drive off. And Lyon, because the schedule allows it, we're having all our drivers back in. It's very exciting. They're getting a double run today. Smoothly through number 5. Just remember those little letters, the small letters mean that's the back end of the gate. When you're going at it for the first time, so he's going backwards through A, you will get to learn these routes. And he's out. Now that was out in about 67, so keep a note of where he was coming out. That's an important split time and will be a good indicator. Don't forget, it's not just about going through the course in the right order. There's split times, there's feedback from the crew behind, the navigator on the top. They are working as a complete unit. So far, so good for the Frenchman. Over the bridge, that's number 9. We are into the final section. Remember, we have 13 separate elements. They are quite complicated, those, not just going through a pair of cones. There's an awful lot more to it than that, but Ben is looking really smooth forward, keeping the rhythm. Such a fantastic horseman, and each time he brings these lovely Lusitanos out, they work so well, improving, pulling together, working together, leaning into those bends. All the commands through the reins and the voice, the concentration. This is a fantastic round. Nothing to add so far. Can he keep it clean? Through the Oxer, quick look down. Mustn't knock those cones. Oh, it was so nearly so good. 157.75. We will just bring you up 4 to add right at the end. What a brilliant round. And yes, a pat on the back. First place at the moment. 161.75 is the total at the moment. There were 4 to add. Just a late ball there, but that really was a beautifully judged round. Remember, the wild cards are not here to gain points. It is only the 5 qualified drivers that will gain those all-important points which lead to Bordeaux. That's what we're aiming for. But it's great, isn't it wonderful that we're able to include some of our other top names and most famous faces in driving with this wild card option. Oh, there it was. Yeah, he knew that. You could just see in the body language as he looked down that final Oxer. Of course, it was number 13. And trotting in very smartly is Anthony Horde, also a wild card for France. So that means we've got 7 in the lineup, 5 of them qualified drivers. As he picks up the pace, ages and rankies, and you can see that giveaway that we've got some Lipizzaners creeping in there with those very, very familiar prefixes. Oh, now that's some pace he's picking up early on. Come on, Anthony, how's this going to go for you? It is a gamble. Do you go all out? And it is a long flowing course, this one that Jeroen's put together. Over the bridge, you can just see not too many tricky questions being asked. A fairly straightforward drop down through A. Now they have enough room to go through the middle. Those gates on either side of that Equite Lyon sign, they are not marked with letters. You can just see that. Great shots on your screen. So they are able to use those as entry and exit points to get to the other gates. Clever course designing here from Jeroen Houteman. And just look at that. Bounce, bounce, bounce on the back. That's what it's all about. Keep that carriage away from these knockdown elements and those balls because it's expensive. working well as a unit. These horses, Neapolitano, lots of Roman numerals after that. Favre Phantom, Danny and Bitang. Very, very experienced team. Lots of different owners. A certain Mr. Excel creeps in there on the horse biographies as well. But an experienced combination of indoor horses here for Anthony Old. In Lyon, we are peeling back the lid on this opening leg of the 23rd FEI Driving World Cup, and 2 beautiful rounds so far. Smooth, flowing, exactly what we love to see. Tick off those gates as you're watching them, have to be done in order. Curled round beautifully into D, keeping the pace. And E. Ali Ali, they're saying, Ali Ali for Anthony. But that rein handling, they have to be so quick. That's what it's all about, these lightning reactions, and he's come through it. So that time to beat, don't forget that it includes Ben's penalties. So nothing to add, but a little more cautious on the clock. It looked fast, but it's all about the confirmation of these horses and their stridings as well. So nothing to add, a lovely round, but a little bit down on the clock. That time that we were comparing to 165.70. Ben really went for it. There's Carol on the back there. They're all talking to each other in constant dialogue, humans and horses. So great pictures. Just see him anchoring back the horses a little bit as they come on the downward slope of the bridge. But that's our first clear. So a good benchmark as we come towards our qualified athletes. These are the rounds that they're not earning points today. They're actually earning a lot of a psychological advantage as to how their horses are going and the communication as we welcome in. Actually, talking of thoughtful processes, Dries Degrieck, Big Star Hunter, KB and Lyon. He is such a considered driver, quite internal, not so expressive, but so talented. Now an established part of our World Cup crew, absolutely brilliant on the marathons. These great horses, not terribly old by the standards of our World Cup horses. They're normally well into their teens for lots of reasons. They need to have cool heads, experienced heads on them to just soak up the excitement and deal with the adrenaline. They're like us, experience and confidence for the horses as well. As Dries powers round, he is so good on the reins, some of the best hands the Belgian has in driving. And his horses are always forward, always keen. And Tara Wilkinson, shout out for Tara then on the back navigating for him. They're good friends. And Dries has actually helped Tara with some of her horsepower over the years as he comes out these long lines. The arena here in Lyon is 86 meters long by 45. There's Tara sitting in there, up and down, talking to Dries, because he's got to concentrate on the horses and his rein handling. So that navigator, so key to keeping everything right. Quick thinking from them. Back over the bridge, number 9, and great, we're able to bring a split time now. Look at that. Dries has to be one of the favourites here. You'll remember from Lyon Leipzig last year, all the L's together. His brilliant win really was a giant slaying day for the Belgian, and that was a great confidence giver for him. He knows he can win a qualifying leg. So one of the hot tips as we come in to gaining some early points. just look at the suppleness of those horses. They're fit, they're agile, they can lean into the bends. So great split time for Dries so far. He's nearly there, still on 0. This course is driving beautifully for early on in the season. And has he made it through the r&ocirc? Oh! Just a bit disappointing, but he's done enough. He's done enough to put himself in front. They're all looking up on those big screens and timings. But look at that, 155.75. That's a good time, but 4 to add, but it's enough to put him in front. But don't forget, he's got some pretty hot drivers coming up behind him. Did Ben and Dries just relax a little bit too much coming through that r&ocirc? Might be on a slightly tricky angle. Clever course building. Questions being asked, and don't forget those brakes, quite important. Just exactly the same point, just cut in a little bit too tight, just like Benjamin did. He probably won't make the same mistake again. And it's great to have an absolutely fantastic competitor coming forward now in his 2nd consecutive season. He's dipped in and out over the years of the World Cup as a qualified driver, but again, another one of our brilliant marathon drivers as well, and the two do go hand in glove as he starts his round for Germany. First of all, 2 Germans, Georg Von Stein with Manuela on the back and Marcus Langer. He has got today in his horsepower Matthias, Hungarian, age 13, Playboy, WPN, so Dutch warm blood tucked in there as well, who's also one of his outdoor horses, Kappa, German-bred 8-year-old, and Leo Bella. So we've got a range in ages, 2 8-year-olds, a 13 and a 16-year-old. All except Playboy were part of his team last year as he entered the fray with qualification in mind. So we've got a long and exciting road ahead of us before we get to Bordeaux in February, 2nd weekend in February this time. Note the dates. But now we're on to the point where the rankings will start to tally after this weekend. It is what happens tomorrow. Today's competition sets the running order for tomorrow, as well as a bit of familiarisation. Don't forget, these horses get to learn the course as well. Nothing to add so far for Georg, as his horses, quite long legs on these ones, which means they have a bit of advantage over the long stretches. It can be deceptive. Sort of footfall and length of leg, as we've come to know, as he over the bridge again. Split time 5 seconds down, but don't forget 4 seconds, a penalty, a ball, adding all together. And the horse is falling into the rhythm of the music, a bit like these Grand Prix dressage competitions that have been going on as well. Isabelle Worth, winner yesterday, actually of the 2 competitions so far in Lyon. This wonderful World Cup driving between the dressage and the show jumping. My colleagues Natasha Baker and Phil Gazala bringing you that action as well from Lyon. As Georg, so far so good on the penalties. Will be a little bit down on the time, but it's that balance, it's that total. Penalties equal seconds. And, oh, it's a pesky one. It's a pesky number 13, 12. Oh, they've gone as well. So that's 11 and 12 gone. Come on. What's happening? But I think he's all right. I think he was through the finish. Let's just see what's happened. Yeah. He could afford to knock it because he'd finished. But 4 to add again. One's been fine. That pretty much all the course has flowed very smoothly and not been too tricky. Don't forget, they do have a wider margin on either side of their wheels. They've got the marathon carriages, that 125 width, through standard size cones of 1.9. But they are going at considerably more speed than they do in the outdoor cones, as we welcome in Mareike Meier, ranked number 8. And she is such an elegant driver, and she says every time she talks about her horses, for her it is about the bond she has with them. She's had most of her team for a very long time. They are very experienced. They're big horses, and they cover the ground, but she knows she's not going to be up on time, but she drives them beautifully, and she likes to be the showcase for elegant driving. With her all-female team, we can see there's an early 4 there for her. She's got Linda Todton and Nicole Beilmeier on the carriage with her, the all-female crew on the vehicle. And the horses today, we've got Sunfire, Fridolin, Zazu and Zatin. 14, 16, 18 and 20. What a lovely rhythm to their ages. But don't they look good? And what a great advert they are for more senior horse, still live. Relaxed and supple. And just look at how they open up their trot. You get these odd moments of those beautiful paces, which is one of the reasons she scores so brilliantly in her dressage tests. It's elegance, that moment of suspension. So if they do drop back into trot, just to make the most of it as Mareike. She's going to be called Anna Mareike and Mareike throughout the series, I'm quite sure. She said she's happy to be known as both. Exchanging messages just ahead of the series. 4 seconds down on time, 4 to add with that early ball. Lovely lines, forward, forward, keeping the pace. A few glimpses of those lovely trots. Powered, isn't that great to see that left side wheeler just doing the work there, going into his collar. He's a big horse, isn't he? Out she comes, the crowd is cheering, the girls on the back are leaning, they're cutting through. Where is her clock going to stop as they loop back? She stayed on 4, 163.02. So actually pretty good on the time, Mareike. Well done. Just 4 to add. Confirmation there of the total 167.02. And gosh, only 2 more to go. The time does fly when we're all so absorbed in this absolutely gripping spectacle. Early morning in Lyon, the opening leg here at the 30th edition of this wonderful show, a triple whammy of FEI World Cups, dressage, driving and show jumping. It's a busy weekend. My colleagues in the arena welcome in Jérôme Voutaz for Switzerland, and when everything comes together, he is absolutely one of the most competitive and fearsome through a World Cup course. These horses are powerful. They've got this compact conformation and they really do power. He is one of the drivers who uses the same for inside and out. You might have spotted them doing a brilliant cones round in Hungary Marathon didn't go their way, but my goodness, he redeemed himself as they power over the bridge, setting a very high standard in the cones in Ijsbrand. But we've moved indoors. The action has come inside. And this is a gentleman who has figured many times in the final and is a real trailblazer in terms of the time. This course should suit him. They have great impulsion and power, these horses. They can ping forward, and he's just tightened them up there. You can see they condense themselves to make that tight turn. It's all about the lines. Sticking as close to those gates as possible, because every second really does count. So far, so good for Switzerland and Jerome Voutaz. Again, another one who surely, with his experience and form over the years, would think that there should be a top 3 finish. Dare we predict Ijsbrand, Dries and Jerome? Who knows? That might be where the money is. We don't have Boyd, Bram, Glenn and Koos. They're coming next week in Maastricht. So result potentially a bit more open this weekend. Let's see where we go. Will it go your way, Jerome? Through D, he's in number 11. And it's going well so far. Just dropping back into that trot, ready to ping. This moment when the accelerator goes down is brilliant. Cutting through number 5 to get the line right. And has he got it right? It looks very much like he has, and it looks like this is going to be our new leader. That was a clean round, nothing to add. Brilliant from Jerome Voutaz. And I will just let you know who that is. He's given a kiss on the lips. That's Nicole Bessieux. And Leo Cordes on the back, smiles. They've done a great job. That was as good as it gets from Jerome Voutaz. Well done to him. Everything came together, smooth, flowing. Beforehand, this seemed like a course that would suit him and his horses, and it did. That's the time to beat. Those are the lines to take, and he got it right through 13. As it's almost like a hush of reverence falls as this gentleman comes in. He is loving it. Just watch his face. He's got nothing to prove to anybody anymore. He's Ijsbrand Chardon, as Bram, his equally talented son, said, what more can you say? What can you say to him in training? What more can you do for this man? He has blazed so many trails in driving, and he is loving every minute of being here with these horses. He's still as competitive as ever, and my goodness, he showed us how it was done at the last final in Bordeaux for a podium finish. What a talented man, and even when the horses say, we're really going over the bridge, Dad, they still do it. Today he's got Conversano Osta, another 2 Maestosos, one with some Roman numerals, who originates in Romania, belongs to Bram, Maestoso Mister, who's been driven in the past by Chester Webber, and we've got first one, age from 8, 10 and 14, and 4 for Ijsbrand so far. A slightly different format for the drive off. We've got all of them coming through, and this drive off one, we are adding the times. It'll be different tomorrow. I'd just like to keep you on your toes. There are a few rule options as to how each organising committee and event chooses to run, which set of rules that they go for, as of course keen running from these horses. That was a turn and a half. Wow, I'm sure there's some sort of physics equation as to how that carriage stayed upright there. Good job from the crew on the back. We've got Lyon, Chardon and Chris van Rooij. 8 to add for Ijsbrand so far, but he's going for it, as we would expect. Of course he is. Bram will be out next weekend. There's a few of them. This is another show back in Holland. Bit of a warm-up this weekend for them ahead of their Maastricht, but it'll be interesting to see which horses Bram and Ijsbrand trade between them during the course of the series. I did say, providing they both qualify for the final, when they line up together in Leipzig, they should have their teams in place by then. As the clock stops, 1:58.32, good time, but 8 to add. So 8 to add for the great man. 1:52. 1:58.32, which gives a total of 1:66.32. Let's just get that written down. It's 25th at the moment. Look at the lips. Chardons are blessed with height and these long arms, which means that when you're giving your hand forward on those reins, they do have inches ahead of some of their compatriots. Ijsbrand talking to his horses, leaning in. Yeah, he knew how wise he is. He knew that line wasn't quite right. As they jump down, out through the chute. Arena parties in, quad bikes out. There we have the current standings. Jerome Voutaz, fantastic round from him. That really was a masterclass early on. 1:55.12, very good from Dries Degrieck. Just think, if he hadn't had that 4, how close they would have been. So that's our 1 and 2 at the moment. Benjamin, our wild card. Lovely opening round from him, 4 to add. So his time was good. Anthony Ord, nothing to add, but that time of 1:65.70. Then we've just seen Ijsbrand Chardon go round, and then Mareike and Georg. So a few moments to breathe, to gather ourselves. We'll have a quick recap of the action so far as we wait for them to come in for the drive off. The time, as I've just said, of drive off 1 will be added to the time of the first round. So it does all count. Sometimes we go back to 0, like we will do tomorrow, preempting that. Bit of prescience there for you. And just some close-ups. Yep, that was, just a clip on that number 13. Georg here now. Everybody working together. Lovely shots from the camera crew and the production. Everybody bringing you even a little bit of glitter from Mareike with her black bonnets on her lovely horses. Was our winner from the first round, Georg Voutaz for Switzerland. Will be ground line shot of Ijsbrand. Yep, there it went, number 12. It's as if time stops in these arenas. I know it's quite early in the morning in France. Lyon 2024. There's an awful lot of action behind the scenes. Some of the world's finest athletes, equine, that is, in those stables. All sorts of rules and regulations governing how they're travelled, how they're kept, there's biosecurity, all sorts of things. It's a big operation, and there we have confirmation of the start list for drive-off, leg 1 of 8. We're still in Lyon, bringing you the action live. Georg will go first, then Anna Mareike, Ijsbrand, Anthony, Benjamin, Dries and Jerome. Rankings at the moment. We've got Germany, Germany, Netherlands, France, France, Belgium, Switzerland. But we're not playing for teams or those sorts of awards in the World Cup. It's very much an individual competition. As those lines are smoothed out. Jerome Voutaz should be pleased with how that flowed. Great for the horses. Great familiarisation for them at this early stage. We've got 3 weekends in a row for you. Here we are in Lyon, 30th. Some glowing. A few more people have filtered in to this beautiful arena, but as I say, you could be anywhere, anytime. It's like a time capsule in there with the music and the lights, and it really is electric. Wherever you are, please, if ever you get the chance to come and see this live, watch it, just soak in the atmosphere. It's an incredible alchemy. The excitement, it really is like nothing else in horse sport, because it's concentrated all in this arena and its speed, and we do want crowd participation. We love the cheers, we love the thumping on the ground. It just raises it to quite a subliminal level, the excitement. And the music is a really big part of it, as are the lights and everything, and it is amazing how our horses can come in and power around and really sprint and run, and then within a few minutes they come in for the prize givings or the parades, and it's just like the heart rate drops. They're absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the things that is in favour of the Lipizzanas as a breed. That's why so many of our top drivers and those that are able to have an indoor and outdoor team favour them, because of their attitude. They're called big ponies. They've got that intelligence, the quick thinking, and the ability just to adapt to whatever situation they're in. They're absolutely fantastic. So next weekend the action will move to Maastricht, then straight on to Stuttgart. A little bit of a break before we have the sort of pre-Christmas shows. We move into quite a different feel with all the decorations and the Christmas trees. We go to Stockholm, then Geneva and London, which really are very, very family orientated shows, as they're out with their pre-Christmas shopping, celebrations, festivities. Little break for Christmas, and then we have Mechlin, and a little bit longer before Leipzig in January, which is the dry run for the Bordeaux final. So those are the now quite established qualifying legs that have been used since the series was resumed after the pandemic break. At the time we've used Gothenburg, Budapest, all sorts of different shows over the years, but the 8 I've recounted tend to be a fairly fixed pattern at the moment. As we welcome in Georg Von Stein for Germany, with Manuela Von Stein and Marcus Langer on the back, Matthias Playboy Kappa and Leo Bella. As he picks up the pace and off he goes, powers through that start. The clock is running, and as you can see on your screens, this is going to be a collective score. Oh, now that's why you tend to have a large gentleman in the back sometimes, because you just saw that slight swing chicane on the carriage there, and it's keeping the centre of gravity low. The design of these carriages over the years, with that lower step, all to keep it upright, and just look how low the hitches are on the bars for those traces and the wheelers. It's all to have that line of draft coming up from below to maximise the power from the horses pulling in front. So you might remember, very first round, Benjamin was out in about 67 from this number 5, which is the first of the 2 marathon type obstacles. And this is the point where the horses start to slightly anticipate. They're clever. And they might just think, are we going back over the bridge? As he comes round the top corner. Leaning in. Yeah, he knew. You could read the body language of them. There was a ball clip there. Very quick on the scores from our judges and ground jury. We've got stewards and judges at different points round the arena just to make these lightning observations and add-on penalties. So 4 to add in this. We are now in the drive-off already in Lyon. Into number 11 of 13. C. C was about to come round on the left rein into D. Good. Good inside leader there. Look at him. Really willing. Hurling his whole self round into that. Through 12, so it's a very quick out from F11 into that 12. It's one thing looking at the design on the paper, but it's another thing actually seeing it and driving that 13, and then they loop round again, that nice run out through the finish, 168.16. So we've got a big total there. But don't forget that's because it's all been added together. So that's collective time. I mean, we say time, but this is including penalties now for Georg. Easing themselves into the season. It all happens so quickly, even in slow motion, as in comes Mareike Meier for her drive off with Linda and Nicole on there. She's very focused, Mareike. She's got a steely gaze. It's great watching her at competitions. As she powers through one, her round has started. She really loves her driving, loves her horses. These are big chaps to take through these courses. She's a brave lady. Number 5. Those lovely leaders just skipping round. So willing. And they are very good looking horses. If you ever see them in trot-ups or out of harness, German crews in particular have, in terms of traditional conformation and what perhaps you might look for in a show horse or a dressage horse, these absolutely tick the box. Very evenly built, well put together animals. And if you have good basic conformation, it means you've got such a great foundation for the performance side of it as well. And she's having a lovely round, drive off for Mareike Meier. Mareike Harm, as was. Nothing to add so far. Let's see where the split is. Now she is very much faster. That's a lovely green number, over 15 seconds to have. but they are in the moment. You have to be very mindful and present when you're navigating that 2 tons of horsepower in front of you around these courses. They are so willing, these lead horses in particular. Super. Lovely moment there where they just fell into pace. Those magic moments. As the foot goes down, she asks for more. Is she through 12? Yes, she is. Cutting in that line. Has she made it through 13? It's looking good. What a great round. As the clock stops on 161.23. Tremendous time there. Remember, they haven't taken any of the gates out. Quite often in our drive-offs, we have the loss of one of our gates in the marathon obstacles, but we kept the same course, so those times really can be compared with what's gone before. But big smiles from the crew, from the leading ladies. Mareike's just looking up, just waiting for the next driver to come in. But that is their first competition over in Lyon, as in comes Ijsbrand Chardon. Suitably powerful music as a backdrop. We've gone from dark bays to greys. Lovely trot. Nice action on his right-hand wheeler as well. Ijsbrand Chardon. Those giveaway prefixes. Fans of the Lipizzaners for this. And they just flatten and run. They're like greyhounds. They do fill the eyes, these greys. Somehow they look bigger, but that's just the nature of their colour. Running quite streamlined as a unit. For and over the bridge for Ijsbrand Chardon in the first of several drive-offs, many drive-offs we will see during the course of this series. Don't forget, in some of our other qualifying legs, there will just be the top three that come forward in both the first and second competitions. Lyon is a bit different. We've got this early morning slot in Central European time as we're bringing you the action live. And probably because of that, we're not under the pressure from the other disciplines. We've been able to bring you all the drivers, which is really great. You know, they invest a lot of time and effort to get to the event. So to be able to have a double round at the opening competition is great for the sport, great for them. So far, so good for Ijsbrand Chardon. Lovely zero sitting in the gold box. They flatten and run so well, these horses. Lots to like about this round. Yeah, he did a great turn again there. Super angle on that camera. One of the best turns of anybody. How many million turns has Ijsbrand Chardon affected in his driving life? You do wonder. This instinctive horseman. Watching him around his horses, just lunging them gently or preparing them, it's always a joy. He's a very natural horseman. And then it all comes together for the World Cup. 4 to add for Ijsbrand Chardon on his second time over the course. Well-matched horses, these in type of conformation and pace. It's like their withers drop equally when they run. Power from behind, stretching from in front. And the clock stops at 1:54.98. Great time, tremendous time. And a little nudge on his shoulder to acknowledge he got one down, but it's enough to put him into first. 3:52.30 at the moment. The sand flies. Each of the surfaces differs slightly. I've talked about the dimensions of the arenas, but the surface, some are more waxy, some look a little bit loose on top like this one, and that can have a bit of a bearing as well on the running. And they're all superb, but particularly when the emphasis is on these 3 disciplines, we have to have a surface that suits the driving, dressage and the jumping. All these considerations. As Anthony Horde comes in for his drive off. Great to have the 2 brilliant Frenchmen who are stalwarts of the outdoor team as well for France. Anthony Horde picks up the pace. He had a great round first time. And this really fast first bit of the course. They're powering round on the right rein. The start and finish gates are on opposite sides across the middle. It can be the same gates or different gates, but once they've gone through it, it's sort of neutralised until they exit again. But these horses, they did work very well as a unit first time round, and they're doing it again second time round, as he is really going for it, Anthony Horde, which will be absolutely thrilling for the home crowd. He's cutting backwards through A, as you can see there on your screens, out through F. Lovely obstacle from the Frenchman, and the horses just love it when they get to have that burst of gallop. See them living their best lives, doing it with their mates. Run, run, run. We talk about instincts, but this is pretty close to theirs as well. Good turn there. Ijsbrand really did set the standard on that turn. And as expected, that time is looking very good, nearly 7 seconds faster. Go for it, Anthony. This is a cracking round. 4 to add. What a shame. No sooner had we said, but he is really going for it. Not surprising that when you ask for that bit of extra speed, sometimes the balance just goes against you a bit. But D, got A to F, all of them being driven again in both the obstacles. Another one has gone. Yeah, that speed is just catching up with him a little bit, because he has put everything into this drive off. And with that, you just lose a little bit of accuracy sometimes, but it doesn't matter. It's still been an absolutely fantastic round for him. Yeah, 12. Costly on the balls. Great time. Absolutely fantastic time. 155.39 on that clock. So let's focus on what went well for him. A total of all the threes. 333.09. 12 to add, but he looked like he really enjoyed it. Big smile at the end. Hanging off there. Victor Jumel and Carol Ward working hard on the back of the carriage. Yes, that really did go. If you're going to hit it, yep. 30. Oh, hasn't it just caught them out? Now, it caught Ben out first time round. Benjamin Aillaud with Famoso, Fez, Fiasco and Fruto. Quite poetic, rhythmical names, alliteration. It does mean they're all born in the same year. They're 14 now, these horses, just coming into their prime. But Ben did say in Hungary that he's actually bringing on another outdoor team. Always challenging himself with his horses, but they all do. They're always on the lookout, our top drivers, for something else. As Benjamin Aillaud for France. Second of our wild cards. We've just seen Anthony go round at some speed. Let's see if he can replicate this lovely round. He was our opening driver nearly an hour ago already in Lyon. Jump around. Plenty of that going on, isn't there? The music that plays in the background really is fabulous. Such a huge part of this competition. And a lovely run down the short diagonal there of this arena, and the seats are beginning to fill up. It has been an early start, but plenty of driving fans cheering on the Frenchman. The crowds at these shows, when you get a capacity house, this arena here holds 7,000. A capacity crowd behind one of their home, be it jumpers or drivers, is quite something. Good so far for Ben. Now look at that, you'll just see the twist on the wheel behind there, and that's just freeing up the turntable. They tighten it up on the stretcher so the back end of that carriage doesn't flick out. But you want as much articulation through your carriage in the obstacle, and then you need it to follow the lines when you're on the straights. And he's out, it's looking good. He's cut back through, yeah, lovely swoosh through the sand there for Benjamin. And 13, is it going to be lucky this time? It looks like it is, and it's going to be a brilliant time, 1:55.71. What a note to end on, nothing to add, 325. And my goodness, for the number in there, they're making a lot of noise. That's tremendous. 317.46. We will, of course, bring everything. Oh, look at the smiles on the back. These are the moments when it all comes together, because it's a lot of work in driving. They've all travelled with 5 horses, and Ben, the consummate horseman, acknowledging the crowd. He's a showman as well. Magali, their wonderful Liberty displays, and of course he of all people will acknowledge the brilliance of his horses. Absolutely tuned into them, and that was a super round. He's not one of our qualified drivers this year, sadly, but may well see him again as a wild card. Let's hope so. Big smiles. Now we're getting down to the sharp end. Dries Degrieck. And I love how his leaders are streamlining themselves. Those ears flattening back. Paying attention in the moment. And now he means business. He's come out. Such a brave driver. This naturally talented young man, tremendous horseman as well, we say it across the board, but Dries does have this incredible telepathy with his horses, and these reflexes on the reins. You see it here, particularly in the obstacles. But that was quite a run out. I think he wants to get ahead of the Swissman. Let's see if these balls stay on top for Dries Degrieck. Dance, dance, dance round. Good horses. And flattening back. They don't want the G-force of their ears taking anything away from the time. All the traces taut. They're all pulling, they're all working. They're all doing a tremendous job. Yeah, look at that sweep round now. Oh my goodness. You need laser vision to keep up with this, and of course he's down on the, well, look at that, in the green, faster. up against the clock. Really good round here. Come on, Dries Degrieck. This is fast. And this is the round of somebody that really does want everything to count, who wants to get himself to another final in Bordeaux. 16 feet working together on. Oh, good leaders. Falling in together beautifully. Through, and he's clear. He is clear. And look at the clock. It has stopped. Oh, just over 150. Just over. I did wonder if he'd slip in under, but that was some round from Dries Degrieck. Well done, 310.14. That is the collective. Well done, Tara, you've done a good job there. You might have a few more call-ups as the season goes on. Tara Wilkinson from Yorkshire in England, but she's in Lyon this weekend helping her friend Dries Degrieck, a world-class single driver herself. Now that really was an adrenaline-fueled round, and that was brilliantly judged. They're cutting in on that bottom cone to get the line in, to get the sweep round to the finish. Now, that has just put the pressure on Georg Voutaz. He can deal with it. He's done this many, many times before, nearly as many times as Koos and Ijsbrand and Boyd. He's been there for many years on this World Cup circuit, and he's got good horses, powerful horses, fast horses. What can he do? Have we just seen our winning round, or are we about to see it? Who's got that crystal ball? Don't even blink. As Georg Voutaz, this is the last of our drivers. Competition 1. We've got it all happening again tomorrow. Please make sure your diaries are clear. Round about lunchtime, French time. But we will bring you the action live from Lyon. As for Switzerland, Georg Voutaz is in his drive-off. We've been lucky enough to have all of them through again, all 7 drivers. What a treat. It will be tomorrow, just the top 3, and it will be starting from 0. But today it all counts, and today it's about advantages. It's about the competition. It's about the starting order for tomorrow. They've got a good rhythm through this obstacle. That's what it takes every time you come up or down through a pace. There we go, just condensing. They did this turn very well, but the more you can keep your rhythm and stay either in your canter or your trot, the better you will be against the clock, and the more control you have over the lines you take. So far, 0 penalties to add. As Georg Voutaz shows us how it's done. Good turn there. Yeah, they've all driven that well, particularly in this drive-off. Number 9 already over the bridge, making the most of every inch, centimetre, millimetre of this arena. 85 metres long it is. It's not the biggest, and it's also not the smallest on the circuit. Geneva's pretty big. We'll see that before too long. We're in Lyon with this triple whammy of World Cups. As the driving gets underway, and Georg Voutaz is in some style rounding off our opening competition. Come on, little horses, keep it up. Yeah, he was cautious through there. You sensed a little bit of caution, but he decided he wanted to do everything he could to keep those balls on top. So it's going to be slower. Let's see if that cautious second obstacle was too cautious. It's all a bit provisional. Dries might have done enough. He kept it clear. Yes, Dries had done enough. Dries really went for it, but Jerome, quite rightly, acknowledging his horses. But that was a very, very good, solid, no mistakes from Jerome Voutaz. He put the brakes on a little bit towards the end, but he kept the balls on top. He knew what he was doing, very focused, nothing left to chance. It wasn't hit and miss, quite the opposite. But Dries just threw everything at it. They all have their own ways of doing it. So we will have a quick arena clear, and that's confirmation on 310.14. Dries Degrieck is our winner today. Jerome Voutaz just slightly behind, 312.40. And in third place, lovely rounds from Benjamin Aillaud, 317.46. Ijsbrand Chardon in fourth in competition number one, then Mareike Meier, Anthony Old and Georg Von Stein. So that is pretty much the end of our action. It's been a really wholesome opening competition. Horses working well, flowing, no stop start, just all forward, and the horses having the opportunity over this course to work really well together. It was harmonious. The drivers able to keep their rhythm, able to establish, then go, bring them back through the odd turns, but then there's enough room to do it. They didn't have to condense too much, and that gave us some really smooth rounds. Very good to watch as the 30 is carried off. It's going to be carried around quite a lot. Yes, relocated. The speed and the coordination with the teams on the ground. We say most of our shows we have in the region of 200 to 250 volunteers and crew on the ground that help. What goes on where you can see that sort of little white rectangle down the tunnel, beyond that it's just vast. You've got the collecting ring, the warm-up, that's stewarded as well. Who have we got? I think it's Jan Devar is our chief steward. Yes, very, very experienced. We've got Philippe and Dr. Sonia Vitrick and Dr. Thierry. There are veterinary delegates as well. So the ground jury led today by Bert Jambon for Belgium, Michael Deliginier for France, and Anne-Marie Turbe. She is a very familiar face as one of our judges and ground jury. Sometimes president, she's member here today in Lyon, and course designer, of course, Jeroen Reutemann, assisted by Bruno Kempf and Vincent Faure. They're two of our French, but we do mix it up. They are very, very international competitions at this level. Those are our officials. They're the ones that have to be super fast on putting up the penalties, and a bell ring. Don't forget things like if a ball gets knocked or an obstacle gets knocked before it's been driven, you've got the bell ring, some penalties added, has to be rebuilt. One of the rules is actually when something has been knocked, like a ball or a C falls off or something like that, it is left. It does not get rebuilt if it's been driven through. If it gets knocked before it is part of the course, whilst it's still live, then it has to be just left. But beforehand, the bell rings, it all stops, penalties get added, and then the course restarts again. But they must wait for the bell to ring before they restart. So there we go. Competition number one. And our winner for Belgium, Dries Degrieck. Second place, Jerome Voutaz, both very competitive. Jerome, a little cautious finally, but wanted to keep those balls on top. Dries came out and meant business. And let's just see how it plays out tomorrow. We will have the drive-off will be the top three tomorrow. It's a different format. And as I said earlier, the organisers do have the choice as to how they run it. Isn't that beautiful? Very tasteful. We've got our twirly tree there. The Ikita J&eacute Lyon is the full name of the show. Concours Épique International. Just bringing it all in. And now we're framing. That's better. Love these details round the back. Got rakes, quads, little tractors, and all the obstacles and the elements, they'll be stacked neatly just round the back, probably under some of the seating, alongside the show jumps and the dressage boards and whatever else is going on. It's wonderful to get the chance to actually see round the back of some of these shows. We bring you just a slither of the action as it happens live. And those clocks that you find in the corners of all these arenas, really important. Longines, such great supporters of our horse sport. What a year it's been with the Olympics. We had our World 4 in hand in Hungary. That really was quite an event. Shortly afterwards, the singles in Le Pam. And gosh, the dressage of some of those single horses. Do watch that back again. If you are a driver and you want to see the excellence and the training that went into some of those single horses, do please. All this coverage is available wherever you watch it, whether it's via Clip My Horse or the YouTube channels. It's always available for you to watch back, and you learn so much by just watching the world's best drivers, crews and horses. It's an education always to see what goes into them, and we saw some really fit, supple horses here today, always forward. There was just no questions, no doubt from them, working so well together. She's still raking, using the other side now. They work very hard, long days. These shows go on well into the night. And sometimes in driving we're on very late, and sometimes, like today, we're on quite early. And even in the schedule for this show, it was marked out the configuration of where the horses will stand after each competition. I think we're going to see them standing in a triangle today, if they do, as was put out in the schedule. Like complex documents, all the rules and the schedules that come out way in advance have to be signed off. As we welcome back in, and look, they've already got their rosettes on, so that's part of what happens whilst the arena is being cleared. And congratulations to Dries Degrieck and his horses, who gave him everything today. Just to remind you who the real stars were. That's Hunter, Lyon, Cane Bee and Big Star. 2 KWPN's Dutch Warm Bloods. Big Star is, now this is, as you'll know, for those of you that listen to these commentaries, Plains Liberator, one of my favourite sires in driving. Big Star, that breeding there. As we've got Hunter, who is used outdoors as well. So fairly young team. Right leader is 8, left leader obviously is Hunter. So Lyon and Hunter, the power behind that winning team. And that's it, they're in their slight, meant to be a triangle according to the schedule. Yeah, just the 3 in this time. We'll have them all in for the prize giving next time. But this is every time, it's amazing. They've just raced around full pelt, and look at how well they stand. And how brilliant these horses. Penny for your thoughts, Dries. I say he's a deep thinker. Quite an impenetrable expression. He is just enjoying the moment, as you should, Dries. Take it all in. national anthem for Belgium. Congratulations to Dries Degrieck, our winner after the first competition of the first leg of the 2024-25 FEI Driving World Cup. You've just heard La Brabaconne, which is the Belgian national anthem. It was adopted in 1860. It's got the French title and it relates to the Duchy of Brabant. I wonder which national anthems we shall also be hearing over the course of the series. I think we wouldn't get very favourable odds for Australia and Netherlands. I think we'll be hearing them as well, but great to hear the Belgian national anthem for Dries Degrieck. And if you are planning a day of watching horse sport, don't forget it is all the major competitions are being covered and brought to you live. We've got some pretty snazzy show jumping to come as well tomorrow, but we will have our second competition. And Georg Voutaz looking very happy with his achievement. Rightly so. Drove 2 tremendous rounds there. And a great result, really great result for Benjamin Aillaud. Congratulations to him with his wife Magali. She's up front there on the leader, and Hélène Rabat also. But 2 really lovely drives. Very much in touch with his horses and just all flowed well from the Frenchman. These are ladies that we also see in the lineups in Bordeaux as well. And on goes the hat, because we are very safety conscious in driving, rightly so. And if they're going to come onto the carriages, we've got to look after our organisers and sponsors as well. So our 3 top-placed drivers, led off by our winner today in this early morning start in Lyon. It's Dries Degrieck. Congratulations to him. What a start to the series for him. Georg Voutaz did everything right. And let's just see how this plays out between these 2 tomorrow. Could be very interesting. Rome in second place, but there was very little between them. Quite similar rounds from them both. Dries just had that extra gear over the whole course. He kept his consistency throughout. And I think that's probably a word that really sums up what's happened today. Very consistent driving, rhythm, speeds from everybody. Good showcase for everyone. Do get along to one of these shows if you can. There's so much to see and do beyond this. Great shopping areas. These days, there's much more ability to get closer to the horses. You never get that close, but you can watch them warm up. You can get around the collecting rings. You can get quite a sense of what's happening and who's doing what just from being round and about the back. Just their last few laps of honour. Yeah, they come into alignment, and this really is not for the faint-hearted. Do not try this at home unless you are one of our very, very top world-class, super experienced drivers, because this makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when they come up close or make their donuts and go round in their swirls. What the crowd loves to see. Look at them all bunching up in the corner there. And they have to make sure the chute at the end is clear, because when they ping out, which they all will do, it's quite something. Ears have it with this team. I love it when those lead horses, off they go. There's Jan as they leave. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. Please, please do come back and watch the action again tomorrow. I'm Sarah Dance. It's an absolute joy as ever to share it all with you. 12:50 local time, but just make sure that you know what the time differences are wherever you may be watching us. That's us going to sign off for the live coverage just now. Back tomorrow for competition 2. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day wherever you may be. Thank you.